Hi and welcome to Ben Who Likes Beer and Startups. My name is Ben and recently I was accepted to speak at DDD Brisbane 2016. And I thought what a great opportunity to give out some of the presentation tips I've picked up from a few really experienced speakers over the years and share it with the rest of the deaf community. So I thought, why not do that now? So it should come as no surprise, but the first tip is to practice, practice, practice. And I don't mean just sort of mumbling in your bedroom going, okay, today I'm going to talk about this. No, I mean practice in front of a real audience, preferably something like a user group or something a bit smaller than the audience you're going to be talking to for real. Now, it's a good idea to do it at least twice, the first time for content and the second time for time. And what I mean by this is the first time you do a talk, invite the audience to really interrupt you every time they have a thought or a comment or feedback. And it should help guide and shape the content because you're probably not going to get it exactly right the first time. And it's a good idea to address common questions and form that into your content. Now, the second time you give it, you should be giving it for time. So no interruptions, pretend like it's the real deal and go start to finish and try and give the talk all the way through. Tip number 2 is to be passionate and excited and absolutely energetic. In the tech field, too many people sometimes are focused on the technology and they forget, oh, I need to be excited about this. I need to express and get the audience on my side and excited to go ahead and listen to what I'm talking about. Now, if you sit there and drone on, the audience is going to be bored as well. But if you bring a bit of passion and a bit of excitement, even just a little bit, it's much better and the audience is most likely going to be on your side. Tip number 3, tell a story. Now, a lot of the time in technology presentations, it can be very demonstration heavy or theory than demo, and there's not much time to relate to the speaker. And you'll find the audience will find you a lot more memorable if you tell a story. For example, when I was giving a talk on payments, I talked about how when I worked for a financial services company, we had a $3 million file we had to send to the bank. And we had to do a little bit of tweaking, so we threw it into Excel, red flags there. And then we submitted it to the bank after editing and realized almost too late that we had sent $30 million instead of 3. And there was, we were running around like chickens with our heads cut off until we finally got the problem solved just in time. So we didn't, rob the bank accounts of everyone in our company. But the point I was trying to prove with that is once I'd finished and I said, I'd come back to the talk and I said, look, it's a good idea to store your transaction amounts in cents as an integer. That way there's no ambiguity when it comes time to rounding off and adding up. And so it's a really good idea that people will remember, oh yes, running around with a chook with his head cut off. People will remember stories and they'll try and relate it to your content and it will be more memorable for the audience and a little bit more enjoyable. And finally, my fourth and final tip is use a thing called recall. Now this is probably a little bit more advanced, but it is one of the most effective techniques for getting an audience on board and laughing at your jokes and stuff like that. Now what all it is you tell a joke or a story at the beginning of your talk, and then at some point later on in your talk, you mention it again in a slightly different way. And the audience is going to remember what you said the first time, and they're going to laugh at pretty much anything actually. And one great example of this is, for example, if I have a slow piece of code that I come across, I can go, this method is slower than a Java developer on a treadmill. And that's a joke in itself. And it's a pretty good joke, actually. I might use that. But the point is that joke might get a laugh. But if you then later on come across perhaps a really fast piece of code, you can go, aha, this code's perfect. No treadmill required. That's almost always going to get a much bigger laugh just because people remember your treadmill joke from the beginning. And so when they hear it again, it triggers, a happiness response. They feel part of the in-group. They feel part of your presentation. And it's not only going to make your presentation more enjoyable, but it's going to make you more relatable as well. There you go. There's 4 tips to giving a better presentation. I highly encourage all of you to come down to DDD Brisbane 2016 if you can. It's on Saturday, the 3rd of December. And don't be shy. Come say hi. My name is Ben, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video and at DDD. Cheers, guys.